I think this is the explanation of our underdevelopment. We have been, unlike writers and artists, totally reluctant to learn the lessons of the rest of the world, the successful stories. It's not an economic problem. It's not a political problem. It's a cultural problem. I was listening to some of the interventions, and the question is, why this populism? Well, populism is the oldest political tradition of humankind. Democracy, freedom, market economy, these are very recent, very modern notions. There was no tradition of this in any country until very, very recently. This came quite recently, and this is something that is there for everybody to adopt it if it wish. Well, the countries that had adopted this have progressed and have modernized themselves and have become prosperous and, of course, freer and more civilized than the rest. We haven't done that because we were deeply rooted in an anachronistic and populist tradition. The circumstantial reforms of attempts of modernization have failed in so many cases because they were not supported by a conviction, by ideas, by the belief that only doing these reforms, these changes, we could really overcome our poverty and our inequalities. And what I am trying to say is that if this is true, well, it's the battle of ideas which are the most important battle that we have to win in Latin America if we don't want to repeat eternally this cycle which we are now seeing repeating itself in some countries, in spite of the fact that very recently these same countries had this horrendous experience of, we know what are the results of populism in economic, in social, and in the last run also in political matters. That is why I think we must not permit the economists to say that development, progress, modernization is an economic problem. This is not true. The economy is just an aspect, important, but just an aspect of what is progress, what is modernization, what is development. What is really important is ideas and culture. We have to change the ideas and the culture that is deeply, deeply rooted in Latin America. We have to convince our fellow Latin Americans that businessmen, entrepreneurs are not exploiters, the enemies of the poor, that they are really the important tools for the creation of wealth and transformation, that capitalism, markets are not dirty words, that are words that are inseparable of progress, of prosperity, of civilization. That is socialism, communism, nationalization, nationalism, which are really the main reasons for our poverty, our misery, our inequalities. And well, this is a cultural battle. This is a battle for ideas. It's difficult to win, but it's not impossible. We have heard the cases of so many countries that in very few years have changed completely from what they were because they adopted these new ideas, these kind of policies. Estonia is not, of course, the only case. There are Ireland, Spain. Spain, a very, very interesting, a fascinating case. I went to Spain when I was just a student, and I remember what kind of country. It was an underdeveloped country, a Latin American country. And look now, the transformation is really extraordinary. But not only in economic terms. It's a cultural transformation, it's new ideas, and now this culture has impregnated everything, and well, the example is there to follow. Well, I want to finish thanking once again the Atlas Foundation, Alex Chafuen, Cato Institute, for helping us to organize this conference, and thanking you very much for your cooperation and solidarity. Thank you very much.